Looking for a simple way to boost your overall health and wellness? Consider looking at your quality of relationships. And notice I said quality, not quantity. This goes back to one of the longest running psychological studies done. They conducted it at Harvard on men starting in the 1930s. And they wanted to know what makes for a happy, fulfilling life. And what they found for these men was that the one biggest characteristic that distinguished those who were happy and successful from those who were less successful was their quality of relationships. It's huge. Another study that looked at the top 10% of happy people found that those who were happiest had the strongest relationships. Again, it's about quality, not quantity. It's one of the core areas of wellness that I talk about when we look at the integrative perspective of wellness. And this looks at all the different areas that interact to form your overall health and wellness, relationships being one of them, along with movement, nutrition, resilience or stress management, sleep, environment, and your sense of purpose and meaning. All of these areas interact to form your overall health and wellness. And relationships is one of those that can really booster the other areas. None of them exist in isolation. And so, if you have better relationships, it can help you with your resilience and it can help you with your overall, your movement, your nutrition. Like they all interact in that way. And actually, some studies have shown that it has a direct impact on your stress levels. So they've looked at work and stress related to your work and your work environment. And those who had a positive interaction with people at work were more likely to be able to bounce back from the stress and exhaustion that came with that day of work. So it helps to build your resilience. It also, when you have a good interaction with someone else, it helps to lower your cortisol level. That's one of those hormones that's associated with stress. So, we know that it's huge, not only just in terms of like feeling good, but in terms of managing our stress, helping with our overall health and longevity. It even can help with something like our mental state. So older people who are in a relationship in which they really feel like they can count on someone, their memory stays sharper longer. So we know there's all kinds of positive impacts of relationships. So you might be wondering, okay, like what's some real things I can do that aren't going to take a ton of time, but that are going to help me to focus on building relationships so that I can overall have a better sense of well-being. Let's talk about a couple of ideas for practices anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So one of them is to email a coworker. So send an email, totally unsolicited, totally unrelated to anything at work, and just acknowledge something. Maybe it's something you saw that they did, or maybe something nice they did. You want to thank them for it. Simply just bolster that relationship by sending them an email like that. We know that not only will it make their day, but when we do things like this, it makes our day too. We end up feeling happier and better when we do things like that. All right, so we got an email. The next one is to reach out to a friend and schedule a time to catch up, whether it's a phone call or FaceTime or brunch or walking together or whatever it is. A lot of times when we get busy with our day-to-day life, we forget to do it. And in the moment when it's like, oh gosh, it would have been great to catch up, we just haven't planned it. And so reach out to a friend. It takes a few seconds to send a text message and see if you can get on their calendar. Schedule some time together, even if it's simply a phone call. The third thing that you could try is to send a text message to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, whether it's an old coworker or a relative who uses text message but you just haven't caught up with recently, a friend, anyone that you have contact with, but maybe you haven't had contact with them recently. Consider sending them a text message. Just let them know, hey, was thinking of you, hope you're doing well. See what happens. The fourth thing is to call an older family member. So if there's someone that you know who doesn't use text messaging, pick up the phone. I know it's weird. We use our phones for texting and social social media scrolling, not for phone calls, right? But consider giving an old family member a phone call today. It would make their day. And one little tip I have here, because sometimes you feel overwhelmed or you don't think you have time for it, start the conversation by saying, "Hey, I was thinking of you. I only have a couple of minutes, but I wanted to let you know that I was just thinking of you today." You will absolutely make their day. You will feel better. They will feel better. It will help to boost that relationship. And the last idea I have is to consider sitting down to a meal with somebody. And a lot of times we're rushing from place to place, or we're sitting down but we have our cell phones in front of us even if we're at work. So consider, if you can, to have one meal where there's no devices and you're actually talking with the people around you. So there are 5 simple things. You have to do these, you have to have the meal anyway. It doesn't take any more time to simply talk to people. But these are all 5 simple ideas to boost relationships. And there's so many more I'm sure that you can come up with. But think about how you might be able to do this, because it is key to prioritizing your health and wellness. And these things don't have to feel overwhelming. This is one of the little things that we can do in order to feel better, to live a calmer, healthier life. For more tips like this or techniques like this, consider subscribing to Take 5. It's my newsletter where I focus on simple, science-based solutions for a calmer, healthier life. Reach out to someone this week and let me know how it goes.